Hey, Proxies, Zenpai here. Today, I'll be sorting through my discs in real time, showing you how I decide what to keep or dismantle. I'll walk you through my strategies and reasoning so you can understand exactly why I make these choices. For those who don't know me, I've been playing Zenless Zone Zero since 1.0. I consistently clear endgame with underleveled units, S rank on all the Shiyu nodes, and 9 stars in Deadly Assault. And I want to help you do the same. I stream occasionally, do account reviews, but most of all, I enjoy helping people understand the game better. Before we begin, quick note, this commentary has light background music for a chill vibe. If you'd rather watch without music, there's a silent version linked in the description and in the card on the top right. So, let's get started. First things first. If you're going to spend a lot of time in Bardic Needle, you might want to turn this off. Okay, now that we're here, we can go to dismantling. And in here, you'll see this little pinned icon and quick select. You can use these two options to select a lot of discs to throw out. So for example, I could do this and do A rank and below, and it would select all my A ranks. So I could do B rank, and it'll select all the B rank discs. For whatever reason, it doesn't select discs if you have them leveled up a little bit, and I guess it's just to prevent you from dismantling things and losing discs that you invested into. But I think it should, or at least there should be an option to do so. But yeah, you can multi-select like S rank and below. It'll just select literally everything, but it won't select anything that has higher than level 0. So if I do it again, it actually doesn't even select the trash ones, but you can select all discarded, and then anything that you have marked for discarding with the little trash can icon will be selected. So it's a very nice method of quick selecting. So you can click on this pin icon here, and you'll see the drive disk filter menu show up. You can use a lot of these options to make sorting the discs easier. And what I like to do is go into set, because now it shows you all the amounts of sets that you have. As you can see, I have 78 King of the Summit, 895 Yunqui Tales, 356 Faithin's Melodies, 458 Shadow Harmony. I have various amounts of a lot of discs. Now, before I started stockpiling my discs, I used to just keep around 30 to 60, maybe 75 of each disc until I started filtering through them. I found that like around the 60, especially when I'm keeping substats that I'm not, when I'm keeping discs with main stats that I'm not leveling up immediately, I found that that was a good threshold to have. Basically anywhere under like 100. So somewhere between like 75 is probably good, because there's so many slots and so many stats that you can get. And also you can keep a lot of discs that aren't the best just as placeholders, or if you think that they're going to release something new in the future that's going to work with them. For example, Woodpecker, I had an HP disc that actually works with Yixuan before Yixuan came out, and I had a feeling that they were going to release some sort of HP scaling unit, so I just kept all my double crit ones. Very good practice, you know. Anyways, so today we're going to be sorting through King of the Summit, because it's the first one on the list. I also think it'd be one of the easier ones, since I haven't done any level ups really for King of the Summit. You guys can see what it's like when I just have a bunch of discs and then try to level them up, and basically starting from scratch on S rank. So what I like to do is I like to select King of the Summit, press confirm, and now all the discs that show up here will be King of the Summit. As you can see, I have some of them equipped because before Jafufu came out, I equipped them onto Seth, and then I just gave them to Jafufu for when I was doing the tower challenge. But yeah, none of them are leveled up. I just chose like the best ones that I liked, gave them to her. So the sorting process isn't going to be super hard today. Anyways, go to the disc filter, the disc filter menu by clicking on the pin here. You can also sort other things like equipped, right? So now it only shows the discs that are equipped. If you hit lock, it will show the ones that you lock. If you show other, it will show everything else that isn't, you know? So basically like a normal disc is other. I wish they had a filter for new so that you could just see the new disc, but they usually have a little new icon next to them. Since I've actually thrown out all of my A rank discs aside from this one because I don't have another Shockstar Impact 6 and I don't really want to use a calibrator on it because I don't use stunners that much. I only have S ranks, really, and a lot of S ranks. But we're gonna filter the King of the Summit today. So the first thing you do is you look at King of the Summit. You see how many discs you have. Now a lot of people would just go in and start just going through each disc one by one and seeing what's good and what's not. But there's a couple of options that you actually have. So the first thing that you can do, and something that I talked about earlier, is that King of the Summit has this 4-piece effect that basically requires you to have 50% crit or higher for you to get the full effect of the disc. So what you can do is go to substat, and here are all the possible substats that a disc could have. 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 different ones. The main stat, for example, for slot 1 is always HP, right? So slot 1 is always HP. The main stat's always HP, so you can't really have an HP substat here in slot 1. So look, if I put partition 1, now all of them are slot 1, you'll notice that the substat is actually not highlighted because this is not possible if you're putting a filter of 1. So you actually can use multiple filters for, like, you can filter through slot, you can filter through main stats. So like if you do HP, then all of them will be slot 1. If you do attack, all of them will be slot 2. If you do defense, all of them will be slot 3. The first 3 slots of your disc are locked to flat HP, flat attack, and flat defense. The slot 4 can be other stuff. Like look, if you put slot 4, you can actually have percent attack, percent HP, crit rate, anomaly. Percent defense is also a stat, and so is crit damage, but I don't have any of those discs, so it's not highlighted. That's the cool thing about these filters. They actually dynamically update whether you have something or not. So yeah, using these filters is actually very helpful because it'll help you sort out all of this in like an organized manner, so you can look at them and actually judge them properly. What I like to do when I sort, right, is first of all, I'll do the set that I have and then the rarity. After that, I actually like to go through each partition, each slot. Partition is just the slots, by the way. So it's like slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, slot 6. So I like to go through partition 1, for example, right? And I won't even mess with the main set of subsets usually. Since there's only 15 of them, this is very easy to sort through. If there were more, however, what you could do is you could go to substats. And like we were talking about, King of the Summit actually needs crit rate on it for it to be optimal and very useful. So you go to crit rate, and then you can go to 0. You can click on 0. Sometimes it takes, you have to like click a specific part of the buttons. They're not like the most well coded. Like look, if I'm clicking here, it's not registering. But once I get towards the center, it's got like a weird hitbox. So if I click 0, what this does is it shows me all the discs that don't have crit rate. If I hit 1, it'll show me the ones that do. Now, what you shouldn't do is just click 0 and then immediately like quick select all and then dismantle these 10. Because even though these 10 might not have crit rate, some of them might get crit rate. So just be careful with how you're using your filtering system, because like for example, this first one, right? Double attack, that's a good thing. I like double attack. This is like the second best thing that I will keep. It's got AP, that's also a good stat. This could roll into crit rate. There's 10 possible substats here. 3 of them are taken. 1 of them can't be HP. So there's 6. I have a 1 in 6 chance of this disc being a crit rate disc. It would be nice. It probably won't be, but it's still a 1 in 6, and I have 10 discs, you know? So out of these 10, maybe 2 of them will roll crit rate. But like, for example, this one is attack, HP percent, and AP. The only way that this one is really useful is if we get another rupture agent that is, well, here, that's the problem, right? We either need another rupture agent that has an HP scaling, or we need a stunner that has an HP scaling. Both of those are possible, but just how willing are you to really keep this disc for now. Like if you don't need the material, then yeah, you can keep this disc because it's got percent HP, but it also doesn't have crit rate. So I think the best thing to do here is to roll this up, check the stat in this example, and then decide whether we're keeping it or not. So what I usually like to do is I go in here, I do 4, and then I do add till next, because the material is actually 4 and 4. So 4 blues, 4 grays to get to level 3. That's the fastest, because look, if I take one off, that's the fastest way to get to level 3. And that will give you 1 new stat. Hold on a second. Let me, there's my game. I think it'd be easier for you guys if I actually capture my cursor. And then you guys should be able to see my cursor. Yeah, okay. So now you guys can see my cursor. You guys know what I'm doing. So here. So I go there, and then I click upgrade. And look, I got pen. Now, even if this disc gets an HP scaler, right, which is a very slim chance, it still doesn't have crit rate, which is super vital for you to actually use the 4-piece King of the Summit. That's another thing. Since you're using 4-piece of this thing, the majority of the discs that you equip onto your character will be King of the Summit. You know, 4 out of 6. That's 2/3. Most of your discs will be King of the Summit, and you need a crit rate stat to be 50 or higher. So it makes sense to want King of the Summit with crit rate. If there is no, oh, by the way, this UI doesn't update. So like, for example, if you do this and then go back, then you'll see that the last stat rolled was pen. So don't be freaked out if like you roll this and then the last stat doesn't show up. That's just a weird quirk. They haven't fixed it yet. You just need to like go to another slot. I think it's easier on controller because you guys can actually just like scroll, you know, without having to click. But I accidentally click. Be careful about clicking these because, like, let's say I do this, right? 5 of them, and I click dismantle. It's actually highlighting all 5 of them. You might not want that. If you want to be a little bit more meticulous, what you can do is you can go to each disc that you don't like and then just trash can it. That way, you know that you at the end of it, you look through it, you physically had to press the trash can button. If you're on controller, it's a little easier to accidentally press trash can, but if you're on PC, you have to drag your mouse all the way to the trash can icon and press it. Anyways, I sometimes like to do it the long way and just press the trash can and then trash everything at the end. Otherwise, you know, you could just dismantle it as you go. But sometimes I like to see what the full batch is looking like right before, and then I go back to my trash ones and be like, was that one really that bad? Is this one like the best of the worst? That sort of thing. I tend to keep a lot of stuff, more so than anyone else. But that's just because I like sorting through them eventually. I figure though that what's it called? I figure that if I have enough discs like this, I can do a whole showcase for you guys and maybe teach you how to more smartly sort through your discs. Because, like I said, my account, I play underleveled, I play lower level agents, level 50, 40, sometimes 1s, even on Deadly Assault, and I still clear 20k. And I think that if I could do that with really bad units, right, and I have a lot of materials saved up, then I think I'm doing something right at least, and you guys can see some success, or at least better results from your clears by following some of the stuff that I go by. Because like right now I'm not really struggling for anything. Like as you guys can see, aside from Polychrome, we have 19 million Denny's. I have my battery full right now. I should actually be using my battery, but I'm here doing the tutorial stuff. Anyways, back to this. So that first disc that we looked through does not have crit rate, so we trash it. This next one, this one can roll crit rate, so I'm just gonna leave it alone for now because I don't feel like rolling it. This one is another double attack AP, right? So these are 2 very good discs. We can actually, you could lock them for now and then unlock them later. Let's just do it for the sake of visualizing. I wouldn't lock these normally. I would kind of lock them in my head and be like, okay, these are kind of good, so I'll look at them later. This one has attack percent AP. This one could also roll crit rate. This one has no chance of rolling crit rate, and it's got pen and defense flat. Now, I have a little bit of a cope thing where I like pen discs, flat pen, but this one has flat defense as well, and none of the crit stats. The only thing that this disc has going for it is that it has 4 stats off the bat, so it can roll 5 times. So what you would do with this disc, most likely, if you don't trash it immediately, is if you want to fish, right, you can start doing something like this, where you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see that it rolled pen, and you're like, okay, well, it still has 4 rolls. A 5 roll basically is a potential good 4 roll with 1 free roll that could be bad. It could be good, it could be bad. So you could have either a super goated disc with 5 rolls and the perfect stat, or you could have 4 good rolls and then 1 bad one, and then it'll be kind of equivalent to the best 4 rolls. At worst, it gets 2 bad rolls and you still have 3 good ones, and that's fine. But this one doesn't have crit rate, so I'm just kind of like side-eyeing a little bit. Now, I normally wouldn't invest into this, but just for the sake of argument, we're gonna go to 6 on this. Let's see. So it's usually 10 and 3 for level 6. And see, I got flat attack. So now the best possible thing that this disc can do is roll like 1 flat attack, 2% attack, or 3% attack altogether. And then maybe it's worth a keep, as long as it doesn't fall into defense. Again, just for the sake of argument, I have a lot of material. You guys don't have to do this. You guys shouldn't do this probably, but let's just see what happens, right? It rolled into defense. At this point, once you get to level 9, you have 3 rolls kind of apparent. If not level 12, when it's a 4 roll. At this point, you can kind of tell if this is going to be good or bad. And at best, now it can roll 2 attack and 1 flat attack. I really don't want this. It has no crit rate. It doesn't really help its 4-piece bonus. So I've already wasted like, was it like 30 blues or something? So what I can do is just keep it as trash. And now when I trash it, right, like this, I get back all this material. These pinks are worth 5 times as much as this blue. So I really haven't lost that much from just taking it to 9. In fact, let me just look at this just real quick. I'm not going to level it up yet, but let's see what it's like to get to 9. So getting to 9 costs 31 of these, which would be the same as 6, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do that. So it actually gets me to level 7. If I do 2 more pinks, and that's that, let's actually try to get to 9. So going from 0 to 9 costs you 7 pinks, 3 blues, and 4 grays. So 7, 3, 4. Okay, 7, 3, 4. If you look at this one, it gives you 6, 3, 2. I lost 1 pink because it's 7. I lost no blues because it's 3 and 3, and then I lost 2 grays. So for the cost of 1 pink and 2 grays, and a little bit of Denny's, because this one costs 19,000, I got to see if this disc is good or not, without taking it all the way. I think that's a win. Let me just see. So this one cost me 23,850. The other one cost me around 19,000. So yeah, for the cost of 4,000 Denny's, 1 pink material and 2 gray materials, you can roll a disc to level 9. I'm actually going to make a table of that so you guys can actually see what rolling efficiently costs you to check. Rolling to level 3 is free, by the way. Look, when you get rid of a gold disc by itself, just at level 0, it gives you back 1 gold piece and it gives you 1 blue material. Now you guys know how I level my disc, right? Like I've been telling you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I hit the add to next stage button, and then I get 4 of these. It's 4 and 4. Kind of like Wendy's. So go back, check this, right? Just the 1 level 3 disc, and it gives you back 4 and 4. So because when you dismantle a level 0 disc, you get a free blue for no reason. You lose that free blue when you level to 3, but then it's still there. So leveling to 3 is free material wise. At worst, you could say it costs you 1 blue. That's really not that bad. It does cost you 2850 Denny's. Sorry, it gives you back 2850 Denny's, but it costs you 3600. That's 50 plus 6, 700, 750. 750 Denny's and 1 blue material to check what the 4th stat is on all of your discs. It's usually worth it unless you really just see like garbage stats. One example of that would be like if I got flat defense, flat HP, and like flat attack, just those 3 stats. You can't get flat HP because this is a slot 1, but like let's just say on any other disc I got triple flat or even double flat and pen without any crit stats. I think that's kind of like a toss. So you can do that with filters, by the way. I can show you guys that later. So here I'm keeping the ones that have percent attack. This one, for example, has crit damage, which is a good stat, but without crit rate, you're kind of just like crit damage is a stat that relies on crit rate, because unless you actually crit somebody, the crit damage is worthless. Like crit damage could be the 10,000, but if you don't hit a crit, then it doesn't matter. It's a useless stat. So I don't like to keep discs that only have crit damage. At worst, I'll keep a disc if it has crit damage and attack percent, but that's only assuming that the rest of the 5 slots have crit rate and I don't need the crit rate. So it's very situational. But for example, I'll roll this one because this is an easy kip. What the fuck am I saying? This is an easy kip. Bro, I can't talk. Oh my god. I'm trying to say this is an easy keep or skip. Holy shit. I can't talk. I keep saying kip. Bro's brain is broken. I don't know if I want to keep that. I don't know if I want to keep that in the video. Okay, so this is very easy to tell if we're going to keep or skip this. So we're going to roll to level 3. And this is pen, so 100% this is a toss. We are throwing this away. Okay, so now we can start accelerating if that has attack percent. This has, see, pen and flat defense. Now, AP is not a horrible stat, but it's not one of the top 3. We really just want crit rate, attack percent, maybe crit damage over AP. AP is cool for like AP builds for stunners. Like if you were trying to go like AP trigger with a Yanagi team, that's cool. It's not the greatest in terms of efficiency, but it's fun, right? Like I like it. I like the thought of it. I haven't tried it because my trigger's level 1 and her anomaly would be bad anyways. But if this pulls out with a crit rate, it's okay. But at the same time, AP also depends on your attack stat. So you really want to have AP as like a 3rd stat. You want to have attack percent and crit rate. For this disc in particular, crit rate is your top stat, then attack percent, then either AP or crit damage, depending on what build you're going for. And then the 4th one will be the one that you didn't pick before, which is AP or attack percent. Or you could also go pen. But pen should be like a 4th rate stat. The 3rd one should be AP or crit damage. But right now we don't have crit rate. And honestly, because it has flat pen and defense, and it doesn't have attack either, this disc can never get crit rate and attack. It can only get one of them because that's the limit, right? 4 stats. So without even batting an eye, you could honestly just throw this out. You don't have to invest. If you want a Gamba, if you want to fucking roll this up to level 3 and just see the stat that isn't going to work out for you, you can feel free to do it. If you guys want me to do this in the next video, just roll indiscriminately. I can do it for every level, level 0 to 3, because you really don't lose much and I have a lot of resources, but you really should not roll this disc. The next one, this one is flat attack. That's kind of like a cope for attack percent, but it has AP and it has crit damage. So if at best, if we get crit rate down here, we can do crit rate, crit damage, and double just keep this disc. So because crit rate is more important than attack percent, I'm willing to take the risk, even though I don't think it'll work out. And it does. Because every time I want to just, every time I want to prove a point or throw out a disc to make space, sometimes you have to threaten the discs, guys. I know it's like a weird cope, but like I will dead ass go on my disc and be like, if you get crit rate, you can stay, and then it'll get crit rate, right? It's like when I want to throw out a disc, it'll get the stat that it needs to stay, and then when I want a disc to stay, it'll get the stat that I don't want it to. Wait, where the fuck is I just locked this disc. Did I accidentally toss it? Where is it? I had multiple. Oh, okay. So that's another thing to cover, right? We had 10 before, now we have 9. So the issue with that is we have our filters set to crit rate right now and to crit rate 0. So all these discs shouldn't have crit rate. Because that disc leveled up and got crit rate, it disappeared from our filter results. So just keep that in mind when you use filters. Some of them might just Houdini out. This one has AP attack percent. I'm going to lock this as well. This one has crit damage, defense. This is the same logic. You can roll for crit rate here and then do 50-50 on this disc. I really don't want this disc to roll crit rate because I don't want to keep it, but I'll still roll it to give it a fair shot. It has pen. Cool. Now this is immediate trash, right? There's another like little psychology that you can do with these, right? So like, let's say this one we rolled, it got pen, right? This one we rolled, it got pen. Okay, we're getting pen a lot. Holy shit. So what the fuck? I get pen a lot on my account. Maybe that's why I'm coping with pen all the time, like flat pen, but I get pen a lot. This one did not have an extra. Okay, I remember this one. This one did not have an extra roll because it was a 4-statter, but the first stat we rolled was fucking pen. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys have the same experience. You know how like some people lose their 50-50s on standard banner, right? Some people lose their 50-50s on standard, on exclusive banner. You lose your 50-50s and you have that one demon standard banner character that keeps on following you. For a lot of people, it's Nekomata. For some people, it's like Kaleda. I know one guy in my my Discord is traumatized with Rina. Shout out, boy. By the way, the thing is, I think that those exist for substats, and for my account, it's 100% pen. I get pen as a 4th stat on so much shit. As you can see, I literally just did this live, right? Look at this. It rolled 3 times into pen and then once into the actual pen stat. So here's another little cope math slash like what would you call it, like superstition that I might have. So you see how I'm locking these discs, right? I'm locking them because they're good or they have the potential to be good. I don't immediately roll these because I know if I roll 3 of these, all 3 of them might just not roll crit rate and then I'll be unhappy. So what we did was we start rolling all the ones that are like kind of like not all there, a couple of the trashier ones, right? Just for an example, because they don't cost that much. So the thing is, I rolled pen 3 times. Statistically speaking, right? For math, right? I know that each roll is different, but like let's just say if you told somebody that you rolled 4 discs, what are the odds that you could tell them, yeah, I rolled pen 4 times? They're pretty low, right? Like usually you'll be like, oh, I rolled 4 random stats. So what I'm doing here is I'm rolling some of these like trashier ones up 1 level to kind of get my gamba out, get my fucking just get the bad juju out a little bit. You know, if they land on crit rate, then now I have a crit rate crit damage disc, right? So I have a potentially good disc. If they land on trash, I can throw them out. But they're not the best of the best. They're not these discs with double attack and shit. So if I get enough bad discs, if I look at my sample size, right? Like if I roll 7 bad discs and then I start going to my good disc, the chances are that I might roll the crit rate on one of these because I already did 7 rolls that were bad. So this is a little bit copy. This is not how math works 100%. But if you take a large enough sample size after doing like, you know, freaking 50-50 trials or just chance trials, right? It's going to even out eventually. So I'm trying to bet on it evening out in something that I lock. Another thing is, we don't know what the coding in this game is like. We don't know if like the devs have coded a little like soft pity mechanic that might just give you one of like the good stats like crit rate, attack percent, or crit damage. We don't know that. So if it exists, if there is a soft pity substats mechanic, chances are it'll work after I failed 10 rolls. And if there's not a soft pity substat mechanic, then it doesn't matter when I roll these discs. But mathematically speaking, if I roll bad 10 times and then I roll 5 more discs, I'm more likely to get something in those 5 if I take the entire like 15 rolls into account, right? Like that makes sense. Like I'm not just losing my mind. It does happen. Like I've done it on stream before when I rolled this for people. I rolled this in very awkward manners. I don't like to full send this because Like the same logic is like, let's say I rolled these 3, right? I got pen 3 times. That's not an occurrence that happens frequently. But for example, like this disc, if it rolled crit rate in the last slot, then I would want it to roll in slot 1 or slot 4, right? But then usually I have a whole table of like 6 discs that I could roll for somebody. So what I'll do is I'll roll one of the discs randomly and I'll see, be like, okay, it got slot 2, right? Now in my mind, it's less likely that I get another roll in slot 2 on the next disc that I roll, because that would mean hitting a 1 in 4 the first time for a slot 2 and then the same 1 in 4 again. Again, this is all kind of like cope ritual math that I do in my head, but it makes sense to me. And so like if I see that I rolled a slot 2, then the next disc that I'll go for, I'll try to roll a disc that has a bad stat in slot 2. So like if I was looking at these, let's see, all of these have attack percent in slot 1, so that's not the best example. Let's say I rolled this, right? If I rolled this up, sorry, this just has sweet sauce. Let's say I rolled this one up, and the last and the roll fell into attack flat, the second slot. So now what I would do is I would look through these and be like, oh well, this one has flat attack in slot 2. I'll try to roll this one. If it had all 4 of its stats, I'll try to roll this one because the chances of it rolling into second slot and then second slot again, very slim. In my mind, I'm more likely to land on slot 1, slot 3, or slot 4. Sometimes you will land on slot 2, and obviously that's just how the game of chance works, but I find that it kind of lengthens the leveling up process a little bit. It kind of keeps me playing. It also just kind of... You ever had those moments where you eat some food, right? And it's like super good, and then you want to eat more, but science says that like if you wait 20 minutes, then your stomach will kind of catch up to you and be like, hey, I'm not hungry anymore. You don't have to keep eating. It's kind of like that. Like you kind of like satiate the gamba roll urges by rolling a little bit slower, and then you don't make stupid decisions by like over investing in the disc like this one, because this is bad. Like I told you guys in the beginning, I probably shouldn't do this, but if you roll up to 9 and you stop at 9, that's good enough. Like again, we only lost a little bit of material. So yeah, that's kind of like my logic here. I will level these when I feel that my luck on other kind of mid pieces is going into the tank, and then I'll level like 1 or 2 of these. So I always have something to level. Now that last one this is one of those copy ones, right? We're gonna do 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, defense. So now we've gotten 3 pens, 1 defense roll, and then that 1 crit roll that did, you know. All right. I'm going to start off with the worst of the bunch here. See what happens. HP percent. Cool. This was the worst of the bunch. It did not have double attack. So we can easily mark this one for trash. Some people will tell you always roll your highest percent pieces of success. And that's not bad advice, right? Statistically, your highest success pieces will yield the highest success. But sometimes it's good to slow play and roll some of the other kind of mid pieces just to level 3 or level 6 or 9, right? Not all the way. Don't ever roll your bad pieces all the way to 15. It is a horrible investment. If I tell everybody this, it's like, so like, let's see this, right? To get to level 12 on a disc is this much. It's 14 pinks, 6 grays. 14. You get 1 new stat and 3 new boosts in most cases. To get to the last 3 levels, it costs you 10 pinks. It costs you 14 pinks to get to level 12 and get 3 stats, right? And then it costs you 15. It costs you 24, 10 more on top of 14 to get 1 more boost. That's just not worth it, especially when you're looking at slot 1 and 3 discs that only give you HP and defense. You can really be saving a lot of material just by not max leveling everything, and that's not something that people cover a lot. It really isn't. Everybody will just say, oh, just max all your stats, just, you know, the best efficiency, you're just gonna max everything. It's really not efficient. It is optimal though, like to do that, because what else are you gonna do with this material? I just don't think it's good advice to give to everybody, especially when they're starting out. I like to do this thing called budget builds with people's accounts when I do reviews. I will literally take all of your discs. I will level slot 2 because it gives you full attack, right? Slot 2 gives you an attack stat in main right here, which is good for your damage. Slot 4, 5, and 6 usually have special stats that go with your skill. Like, for example, Yuzuha will have Anomaly Mastery in 6 because it helps her buff. So you definitely want that to be max. You want her slot 5 to be attack so that she gives the maximum attack. You want her slot 4 to be attack. Those stats will actually help her performance through her core skill and her buffs. But slot 1 giving you HP, at best it helps you live and attack, but you shouldn't be getting hit. Like, my point is to make you guys play the game a little bit better and have slightly better builds. If I fix your builds, you might just still be skill issued. You might still skill capped, right? So if I get your builds to maximum, they're really good, and then like you're still bad at the game, you might clear with like 20k 100 points this week, but next week you'll be at 19,000 again and you won't be able to 3-star, and that's because I didn't really tackle the underlying problem. Not only do you have a build issue because you're not building correctly or not investing properly, you also have the skill issue. So my goal here is to teach you how to fish, not to give you a fish. Anyways, most of the time when you're starting off with builds, especially when you have kind of mid pieces, just level to 12. That's advice I will always give to people. Just level to 12. So here we go. I'm gonna level this. See what we get. We got pen again. Right? Pen again. And then what's this one? Oh, this is one of the trash ones. So here we go. Trash this. And my magnum opus gets defense, of course. So as we saw, it was a 1 in 6 chance that these discs would roll crit rate, and only 1 out of 10 did. That's to be expected. At best, we could hope for 2, right? But statistically speaking, only 1 out of 6 of those, or 2 out of 12. We did not have 12 discs, so we do not get 2 crit rates. So it makes sense that this would happen. And I'm still going to keep these locked just because they still have attack, right? These two. Attack, and this one's even better because it has pen. This is still useful. It doesn't have crit rate, but I'm hoping that the rest of the King of the Summits or Shockstar Discos or whatever I end up using on Jafufu will carry by having crit rate. So out of the 10 discs that we got, we were able to roll 1 crit rate. We keep 1, and then these 2, which are kind of copy, but we'll see how everything else rolls before we make our final decision. Preliminary round 1 results of clearing these guys. We got rid of 7 out of 10 discs. And we get all this material back. Look at this. So I'm going to throw these out. Make some space. Cool. And now we can actually look at what does have a crit rate. I'll say we already got rid of everything else, so might as well just look at them in full. If this doesn't have a 0 or 1 highlighted, then the substats doesn't matter. See, it doesn't matter what filter I have. You can turn this on and then not use number of substats matched down here, and your filter won't do anything. So it's not broken, guys. You just need to go down here and specifically select, do you want the substat filter to have 0 matches with crit rate or 0 or 1 match with crit rate. So just be sure that you're aware of that. So anyways, now that we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we have 8 discs here. We can objectively just look through these and see which ones have the best results. If you've already done this for a while and you have a lot of discs, you can even do something like this. You can do crit rate, crit damage, and then look at the 2 match, right? And we'll see that only this disc has crit rate, crit damage. It's got AP attack. This is not super bad. I just wanted to have attack percent. For the sake of Jafufu, a better spread would be to do this. Percent attack, and then match 2. And we'll see that we have 3 discs that Jafufu can use to have crit rate and attack percent. This one has AP. That's why it's equipped on her. I think it was the best of the bunch. This one has attack percent crit rate, and it can roll another stat. This one also has attack percent crit rate. So the cool thing about these, let me turn the filter off. Turn all the filters off. This is a disc that has crit rate, but it has nothing else going for it. We can roll this up. At best, it gets crit damage or attack percent. it got flat attacks. So considering we have other options that have crit rate, crit damage, I might just toss this. We'll keep it there until we can compare with the rest. This is HP, defense, crit rate. This might be another throwaway disc. Let's see. This is one of those cases where I go like, yeah, if you don't get crit damage or attack percent, you're getting tossed. And then it gets attack percent because it wants to save itself, and then we're forced to keep it. You see what I mean? Sometimes you got to talk to your discs. So we're going to lock you because you're on the same playing field as something like this with crit rate, attack percent. The relevant stats here are still 50-50. This could roll +1 in every stat. This could roll +2 crit rate, +2 attack, and then it's a pretty good disc for Jafufu. Yeah, the HP and defense aren't super good, but now I have a 2 crit, 2 attack percent disc that I could run on Jafufu, and then everything else afterwards can either hold its position until I really need an upgrade, or I can just not have to invest in more of these. You know what I mean? So here we go. Crit rate, attack percent. I'm really itching to roll a crit damage in one of these two. And we've gotten enough kind of mid rolls that I'm gonna hope, right, that we see crit damage in one of these. We got defense flat. It's still crit rate, attack percent, so we still keep it. And then the last disc that we have here, again, this doesn't really cost that much to do, but it helps us get there. We go, baby. Triple. You see what I mean? We rolled literally like 3 defenses, 3 pens, defense, pen again, crit rate. We rolled every other stat under the sun except crit damage, and we finally got crit damage. So sometimes it's just a matter of keeping a lot of this, rolling a lot of like kind of bad ones, and then based on the results that you're getting as you're rolling, decide whether you're going to roll this piece or that piece. Like it's a very dynamic process. And I don't think that many people really talk about it because they just go, they're like, you know, level 3, level 3, level 3, level 3. And speed blitzing through all of this shit is not good because you have to take a step back. You have to take a step back from these discs and actually see what the entire, like, the plane looks like. You know, take a step back. Don't see, what is that, the whole fucking saying? See the forest for the trees or something like that. Basically, I'm asking you to see the big picture here. Because if you just indiscriminately roll everything to level 3, you're going to be wasting a lot of material, right? If you just do that for funsies, and if you do it in the wrong order too, right? Sometimes some of this stuff is by feel too. Like if you just like roll a bunch of bad stats and you're like, you know what? I'm not feeling too well about this. Maybe I shouldn't be rolling. Then just don't roll. Because the worst thing you can do is roll when you're in a bad mental, and then that'll just, it's like gambling, right? Like you'll just end up wasting a lot more than you bargained for. But right now, just sorting through our slot 1 disc on Jafufu, we started off with this crit rate, attack percent, AP. Not a bad disc, good starting point. And we had like 8, this one's trash, I'm throwing this out. The reason being that like that one had crit rate and attack flat. All these other discs have at least attack percent and one other stat. The worst discs of the bunch are probably these double attack ones. And they're still useful because Jafufu has such a high attack percent threshold benchmark thing that she has to reach. She has to reach 3,400 attack at level 60. And I can't reach level 60 because my account's under leveled, but I can still use as much attack as possible. So these discs, these two are 100% slightly copium. But the crit rate attack percent ones, very useful. And crit rate, crit damage is also useful. Maybe not for Jafufu, but this could be like for Trigger or something. Either way, we ended up with this really good disc. Attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. And rolling this up, right? Chances are it gets 1 bad roll and 1 good roll in every other stat. That's not bad. Now it could roll 4 into defense percent and I just get wrecked. But that's just RNG at that point. I can't really play it. So what I could do is try to roll all 5 of these. And then see how each one of these individual rolls goes, and then decide to keep this one. I might do that at another time. This whole process is more about telling you how to filter your discs and then get to this end goal. Get to this bit where we have 5 or 6 good discs. What I call these is I call them candidates. I call them prospects, and it's something like that. Basically, they're just good discs that you can have a small selection of. I call them candidates because it's like, oh, what's a good candidate for Jafufu slot 1? It's like, here's the 5 applicants. Here's our 5 dudes just lined up, ready to be in Jafufu slot 1. Which one will win? Who knows? We're gonna have to roll all of them. The goal here is also, right? Let's say you're trying to upgrade your Fufu. So right now, let's say that this disc was level 15. Let's say it rolled like 1 attack percent and 1 crit rate. And then one, so 1 in every stat, just to keep it fair. Let's say that this disc rolled 1 in every stat. Even though it's a 5 roll, ignore that. Let's just say it was attack 1, crit rate 1, anomaly 1, defense 1, right? So now we look at these other discs. And what we're trying to do with these other 5 discs is beat attack 1 and crit rate 1. So if I get this disc and it roll, not this one, if I get this disc and it rolls +2 attack, +1 crit rate, that is 1 extra roll that our hypothetical +1 in all stats does not have. So this one would technically be better. It's better to just count the substat rolls than it is to think about every other stat that's on that disc, if that makes sense. Because eventually you're gonna build everything kind of evenly. So at that point, you're just trading substats. You don't have to worry about the amounts, just worry about the number of rolls. I think that's more important. That's why you see a lot of people in the Hoyo Labs app that just have their builds, and it'll be like, you know, this build rolled 29 good rolls or 30 good rolls and stuff like that. You really just need somewhere in the high 20s to low 30s to be good. Like the super cracked builds are like 40 plus investment, and like, yeah, those do a lot more damage. But you don't need that to clear. If you're here to just clear and have a good time and have like pretty good builds, you're better just doing it like that. Just getting 20, like mid 20 to high, mid to high 20 to low 30s. That's a good happy place to be. I think on average, I think most of the discs that I keep are 2 statters. So they have 2 rolls there. And then they have +2 and +1, so it's 3 rolls. So it's a 2 stat 3 roll disc. That is a total of 5 rolls, right? And you usually have 5 rolls in slot 1, 2, 3, and then you might get like 4 rolls in slot 6 and slot 5. So it's like 5, 5, 5, 4, 4. What is that? 15, 15, 5, 10, 15 plus 8, 23. 23, right? That's not counting like maybe 1 or 2 rolls you might get in slot 4. So yeah, somewhere around like 25 rolls. 25 rolls is probably like a good place to be. If you start getting like extra rolls in slot 1, 2, 3, that bumps it up to like 28. If you get 1 roll in each one. But yeah, so I think the process is relative. I could show this better once I actually level up disc sets, or show you some of my other ones. Like if we start doing like Phaethon's Melody, I actually have Phaethon's Melodies leveled up so I can do comparisons, or Shadow Harmony. Once we get to Shadow Harmony, you guys can actually see my process there. But for right now, it's a little hypothetical. We have +1 in every stat on this King of Summit for Jifufu. So the other 4 or 5 discs that we're gonna roll, right? We want that to beat this, and we'll roll 1 step at a time. The second that a disc looks like it can't beat Jifufu's current disc, you just toss it. So like for example, let's say we rolled this up, and it rolled 1 into attack percent and then 1 into crit rate. We're like, okay, cool. Now it's matching Jifufu, and it would be level 9, right? Because at 6 it gains attack, at 9 it gains crit rate, hypothetically. So now it has 12 and 15. It has 2 chances to roll 50-50 and get either crit rate, attack percent in either one of those. So it has a 50% chance of surpassing Jifufu's current disc. I think that's good enough. We could leave it at 9 and roll the other ones, and it'll still be good to do at the end. Now, for example, this one. How about this one? It rolls 1 into defense at level 6, and then it rolls another 1 into flat defense at level 9. Now it has a 50% chance to tie Jifufu, because it could get crit rate or attack percent, have 2 positive rolls at level 15, because the 6 and the 9 roll were wasted on the 2 defenses. So now we have the 12 roll and the 15 roll. Since this disc, at best, on a 50-50, by the way, if I win both 50-50s at level 12 and 15, ties Jifufu's +1 in both stat discs, this disc is never going to be better. It will, at best, tie Jifufu's, and that's on a chance. I'd rather not take that chance. I'd rather not waste that material. I'd rather just toss this out, hypothetically. So that's the sort of reasoning and logic that you need to employ when you're trying to roll for this. It's very comparative, and I know you guys like to compare a lot of shit, so always have your top discs equipped on your characters or mark them in some way, because like right now, you know, we see Jifufu's little face right there, right? We know that she's got a good disc. You know, she's cooking some shit. But if this was leveled up, we could actually see what she's cooking, and then we can try to match it. Now, another thing is, if the disc that you gave your character is kind of mid, and you absolutely do not want it, then the best way to think of this is, this disc that we have on Jafufu is going to get dismantled. It's going to get destroyed. We're going to get material back. We're going to get 80% of the material back, and we can use that 80% to fuel one of these. Right? Now, if we have 5 discs, you could do them systematically. You could level this one to 15, and then maybe this one's trash. So then you dismantle the 15 one, and then you go to the next disc and then level that up, and then level the next one, and then level the next one. But like, you're gonna be incrementally losing 20% each time you do that. Maybe it's not the best idea to level them up to full, right? It's best to go step by step, decide maybe at level 6, 9, 12, whether you want it or not. You'll lose less material, and you'll probably get a better result. Now, the other thing is, if you're crazy and you have a shit ton of material, by the way, to get from level 0 to 12 to 15, it costs you 23 of these pinks, just solid 23 pinks. So you can know that. When you dismantle them, they give you back 19, so you lose the 20% right there. But you get you use 23 for level 15. So if you have 23, you can level up 1 disc. If you have 46, you can level up 2 discs. If you have, what is that, 69? If you have 69, you can level up 3 discs. So you just need multiples of 23. If you can spare to level up all 5 of these, and you're good like that, you can honestly just actually start fishing by leveling all of these up simultaneously, like bit by bit, not all at once, right? Still make smart decisions along the way. But in theory, you could level all of these, and then at the end of the day, if you level up 5 discs and you dismantle 4, you lose 20% material for each one of them, right? So at the end of the day, you level up 5 discs, you dismantle 4, you lose 20, 40, 60, 80. But you have 1 really good disc, and all it cost you was the 23 pinks plus 80% of another disc. So you got 1 really good disc for the price of 2 in materials, but you still get 1 really good disc because you get the best of the best out of all the 5 ones that you did, if that makes sense. So a lot of this is also just do the budget building strategies, the stuff that I did in the beginning where you level to 12, level each one individually. And then once you have a lot of material and you're just looking to hyper optimize, then you can start like mass leveling things together and seeing what's good. Now I'm a little bit concerned because I just spent the last 50 minutes yapping about slot 1. I didn't think that it would be this long. I didn't think I had that much to fucking say about this. There's a lot that goes into this. And I mean, right now I'm looking at the timer, it's 52 minutes. Holy shit. And I have a whole little section in the beginning of this video planned that you guys have probably already seen or skipped, where I cover why I'm even doing King of the Summit right now, what led to it, what it does. I have a lot of like little factoids about King of the Summit, because the thing is, if you guys skip that, as you can see, I don't have that many King of the Summits, right? I have 70. I have not done this cleanup that much, but right, despite that, I'm still rocking all of these good shit and a triple statter, right? So clearly I must be doing something right, because I have not at all farmed King of the Summit like that, yet I have these very nice potentially good discs that I could roll. And the chances of me failing every 50-50 on this disc, on these 4 or 5 discs, and not getting like a crit rate, crit damage at least +2 and +1 is fucking huge. I will do that for you guys at some point if you want me to. I do not want to level up this right now, but I did cover exactly how to get to this and then what you can do once you're leveling. If you guys want like a practical example, I can do that. But the next thing to do is literally just, we sifted through all of the slot 1s. We're keeping 7 of them. At best, after leveling all of these, I'm assuming we keep 3. And we got rid of 8 of them. We had like 15 originally. So to go from 15 to just 3 really good ones, that's like what, 20% survival rate of these discs. You know, it's not bad. We get to keep a lot of good discs that we can then use. Another thing is, sometimes you might not want to hyper like have too many slot 1s, right? Because how many stunners do you have in your account? And then also, can they share? That's another thing that like beginning players don't really think about too much, is that I'd rather have 1 or 2 good discs in every slot that's good, because then I can mix and match builds and I can get the most performance for the least amount of disc investments. I can draw up a diagram or something for you guys, but basically there's this one account that I was taking care of, and they had Grace, Bernice, Vivian, and Piper. Those were like their 4 main anomaly carries. And the way I saw it is I would be running Piper and Bernice. I'd be running Piper and Bernice on one team, and then Vivian and Grace on the other. Now, Bernice and Vivian will likely never be on the same team, usually, right? Because they're both off-field anomaly. So what I did was I farmed 4 Chaos Jazz for Bernice, and 2 Phaethons for her, and then I farmed 4 Phaethons and 2 Chaos for Vivian. But the thing is that I can have those set up in such a way where Bernice can basically share 2 of her Chaos Jazzes to Vivian, and Vivian can also share back 2 of her Phaethon's melodies, and then I only have to level up, what was it, like 8 discs. So basically, Bernice would have 4 Chaos Jazz and 2 Phaethons. And then the 2 Phaethons from Bernice would go to Vivian, and also 2 Chaos Jazzes would go to Vivian. So basically, she's borrowing 4 discs from Bernice. All that she needs is to complete her 4-piece Phaethons. So I literally needed to farm 4 Chaos and 4 Phaethons, and now I have 2 agents, instead of having to farm 12 discs. Because those 2 are so close in what they want. They want AP, they want attack percent. And Vivian wants more AP than anything. So it makes sense for me to just roll 8 discs as opposed to 12. You see that I just got rid of a third of the workload off of just identifying that 2 of my characters were going to be so closely tied together. And you can apply that to a lot of other things, because the thing is, so when I was using Vivian Grace, right? If Vivian and Piper are never going to be in the same spot, then I could just grab 2 Chaos Jazz that I'm running and give them to Piper. Like if I chose to farm the 2 Chaos Jazz on what's it called? On Vivian, I could give those to Piper instead. And since also Bernice and Grace, since Fire Electric isn't really good right now, but it will be in the future, aren't gonna be in the same team, it's okay for me to like basically dismantle Bernice and give her just to Vivian. So I give 2 Chaos to Vivian and 2 Phaethons to Vivian. She already has her own 2 Phaethons. Now she has 4 Phaethons, 2 Chaos. Now Bernice is left with 2 Chaos Jazz. She can plop those over to Grace, because Grace will definitely want 2-piece AP. So you see what I'm saying? Now I am spreading all of the Bernice discs to 2 other agents. And now all that Grace needs is probably like a 4-piece Thunder Metal or 2-piece Chaos Jazz if she's going to be like an off-field type of variant, just like Bernice. So there's a lot of overlap with these anomaly units, and it works for crit too. Like here, let me show you guys an example. So where is my Yixuan? My Yixuan, this is a disc that I rolled a long time ago with my methods. I got really lucky on a crit damage piece. I got +4 crit rate. The cool thing about this is one of my god discs, I love this thing, is I can mix and match it with any other woodpecker. Like, let's say this one, right? If this woodpecker didn't have any crit rate on it, let's just assume that this crit rate is nothing. It doesn't matter, because this crit damage disc plus another woodpecker's 2-piece crit rate. So that's 8%. This disc by itself gives 12. So you're telling me that because I have this disc on a really good piece, on a really good set, I can give this to just about anybody. And with another woodpecker, it'll actually give them 20 crit rate, because it's 12 plus 8. So a 2-piece combo that just gives 20 crit rate, 48 crit damage, that's basically the stats of a SIG. Like if you look at Heartstring Nocturne, everybody loves that one. That one gives 24 crit rate and 50 crit damage. It's very comparable in terms of just a 2-piece disc. So what I'm advising to you guys is roll very generic pieces that you can spot onto other people. Let me show you my Sambi. Where's my Sambi? My Sambi. So this is a disc that I like sharing amongst people, because it is an attack percent disc with crit rate +1, crit damage +2. Combined with that God disc, let me show you. Where is it? Combined with that God disc, now I have 12 crit rate plus the 2-piece, 8, that's 20, plus 5, basically 4.8, 24.8 crit in 2 discs, and then every character has a base crit rate of 5. So basically, for just equipping these 2 discs, Sambi's crit rate goes from 5 to 29, 29.8, basically 30 crit rate off of just 2 discs. The rest of these are not that good. Like this one is a nice crit damage like buffer, but like look at this, 1 crit rate, 2 crit rate, 1 attack. It doesn't have crit damage at all. This one doesn't have crit rate at all, but my Sambi's crit rate is still 51 with Shadow Harmony's plus 12 and her additional ability plus 10. That's 22. So she actually has 73 in combat crit rate, and when I use her with Nicole, she has like 80, 89 or 88 or something like that. And this isn't even like E level, right? She would have 5 more. So she would actually have 56 plus 32. That's like 50, 68, 78. She almost has 80. She has like 78 or something crit rate. If she was core E. But yeah, no. Sharing discs is pretty good. It will save you a lot. Trust me, it will save you a lot. The only reason I have all these freaking resources and stuff is because I haven't seriously rolled discs since Evelyn. Since Evelyn's patch in 1.5. These discs that I gave to Sambi were like the first week of farming. I just farmed like a couple of cleanups, rolled a little bit at Elfy's, and I got these. Like, as you can see, this one is horrible. This one has 2 flat attack. It's crit damage for sure, but it rolled like trash. I have better. Like, if I go through here, look, I like using these filters a lot, guys. So like, look, I can do attack percent, crit rate, crit damage, and I even have some 3s. I got this one. This one could roll well. I finally got a woodpecker slot one, unlike this one that kind of rolled 2 flat attack and ruined my dreams. And at worst, I also have some candidates without attack percent, right? Look at these. Crit rate, crit damage, crit rate, damage, crit rate, crit damage. I have like 4 different ones that I could roll and try to fish for something. I even have this one that has 2 rate. I don't even know why the fuck I don't have this one equipped. Oh, I think this one used to be on trigger. But yeah, no, this was 100% better. Look, I lose 50 attack, but I gained 1 damage and 2 rate, and Sambi could really use that. This one, unfortunately, rolled 2 HP. I keep this one on the off chance that we get an HP scaling agent like Yixuan, but with aftershocks. Like, this is not a bad disc if we have an HP scaler. This is actually perfect 4-statter. So I'm keeping this one for the future. As you guys saw, I can afford to keep discs like this that I'm not using that could be good in the future, because I just roll better. Or I guess roll smarter is a better way of saying it. I roll a little bit smarter, because rolling better is like, you know, you gotta have luck for that. Look at this, crit damage and attack percent. I have a triple statter, but I have this one instead that I've been using. And the thing is, with proper building, a lot of the times, if you have a decent build and good execution, that's the most important part in my opinion. If you run it down on the stages pretty well, like, you can afford to not have the best of the best discs. Hell, I'm running level 50. I lose a lot of damage for doing this. I'm losing 5 crit rate, like 5% bonus damage here, and then like 15% damage in all my skills because I'm not leveling up. I don't even have mindscapes. I don't run mindscapes on my S ranks. So yeah. I feel bad. I feel bad taking you guys through the rest of the Jafufu slots, because that's really it. All it is after you get to, you can apply the same logic I did to slots 2, and 3. Once you get to slot 4, that's where things change a little bit. So like here, you have to start considering what good main stats are. So here we have AP, attack. Attack is good. HP is kind of mid. There is a cope saying that maybe we get an HP scaler, but we would need an HP scaling stunner, right? And then also the nature of the nature of King of the Summit kind of skews the main stat in slot 4 to be crit rate, because otherwise you're going to have a really hard time reaching 50 crit rate off of the other slots. Remember that Jafufu has it easy. With enough rolls, Jafufu can run attack percent or crit damage slot 4 if she wants. Probably attack so she can reach her thresholds, because then you can run impact 6. Ideally, I think Jafufu would run 4 attack, 5 attack, and 6 impact if she can reach her attack threshold and has enough crit rate, because Jafufu gains crit rate off of her ACE core skill. She gains like 15. That is 6 rolls of crit rate that she doesn't need in her disc, unlike every other stunner that just gains impact. So Jafufu's lucky in that sense. But so yeah, these, especially since this one, look at that, it's got pen and HP and AP. This has to roll crit rate and attack percent for it to be even considered. So like this would probably be a trash. By the nature of the 4-piece summit is what kind of dictates me making this decision. Same thing with this one. This one has attack percent. If this one rolls crit rate, then it stays. And it rolled flat, so we trash it. Like it's that simple. We just have to see how these stats enter. This one can also roll crit rate and be AP. That's okay. Attack percent we keep. Crit rate we keep, even though these substats are atrocious. We keep crit rate just because we might need this. But once we get a good crit rate piece, we can throw out all the crap ones. See, this one is already better. It's got pen and attack percent versus this. So if you wanted to, you could roll both of these, or you can just make the smarter decision and just trash this one instantly. Because no matter what this rolls, it's going to be better, especially if you get the 4th stat. Let's see the 4th stat. AP. So see, that's not the best thing that this can do is roll +4 AP. Very unlikely, very much not even that great, even if it does roll that. Can we get crit damage here? HP. Okay, not bad. Still got attack percent. If it would have rolled flat attack, that's acceptable too. But this is okay for now. HP percent again with... The only reason I would consider this is because it's got 5 rolls and you can like haha roll this and see what happens. But again, by the nature of Summit needing crit rate, this is most likely a trash disc. Attack percent with double HP pen. We have a couple of other attack percent ones. This one is also bad. We have another attack percent. We actually are kind of between rock and a hard place. Oh, we have this one that has attack percent, crit damage, attack flat. This one should roll crit rate, unfortunately. So what we need here is for one of these attack percent ones to roll crit rate. Either one. Because the AP ones are kind of cooked. The HP ones are... We have a lot of AP, actually. I'm going to say that this one's super cooked. I'm just going to throw this out. So we're going to roll the attack percent ones now. Roll defense. That's not good. We can trash it. See, the stat shows up after you roll, and then this one. This is AP. We're getting close to that. I haven't rolled crit rate like in a while type of threshold. Let's see. I'll roll it on this one to see what happens. HP percent. Okay, so that's a trash one. See, the more we keep rolling not crit rate, the more my mind copes and tells me that crit rate is gonna happen soon. So we're gonna throw the crit rate potential roll on this one. HP percent. Okay. We can use all the AP this as like little scapegoats. HP again. Okay. Where is the last this? It's this one. And pen. So none of them rolled it. We haven't rolled crit rate in a while. Thankfully though, none of these discs really matter that hard. We got a lot of AP for some reason on King of the Summit. I don't understand why. And to be 100% with you guys, we can honestly just trash all of them. I don't ever really see myself using a King of the Summit AP disc. But if I had to, right? I think slot 4 AP is one of the hardest discs to roll for. And having attack pen is kind of a godsend. So My judgment says keep these two, but trash everything else. Like this one, attack with no crit rate, anomaly with no attack stats, crit rate with a better alternative here. Because this one, no matter what I roll here, aside from AP +4, it's just not going to make me feel good. HP with no crit rate, HP with no crit rate. This one is probably the hardest one for me to toss, and I might just undo because I like the substats. And at the end of the day, keeping this extra disc won't really hurt me. I'm already throwing out so many other things, and I don't want to roll this one right now because I've already rolled like 5 other discs and none of them rolled crit rate. So if this one gets crit rate, I'm going to crash out. So I'm not going to do that. For my own mental health, I'm not rolling this disc. I'd rather just grab all these, just toss them. And out of all these, we've reasoned that we can at least toss like 2 of these. So that's for another haul that we can do. We can just toss 2 more discs. But right now, this one's good and this one's good. Not by much. Slot 4 is very hard to get. Slot 5, you can even go here in the main stats and check out what you got. You got a lot of attack percent slot 5s. We got HP percent. I usually like keeping at least 1 of each. But this one's horrible. This one doesn't have anything on it. The chances of it getting crit rate kind of mid. The thing is, even if it gets crit rate, it's still trash. So I'm not going to waste my potential crit rate roll on that thing. We also have defense percent. This one doesn't have crit rate either. We can toss this. Mark of trash. So you can use these main stat filters to kind of filter stuff out even more. Ether damage, we don't have an ether stunner or a physical stunner aside from Fulcro really, so we can just look at those together. This one's very nice. This one, attack percent crit damage, that could roll crit rate. This can also roll crit rate. We can keep these. I don't mind. Because not everybody needs attack in slot 5. Fulcro doesn't really need attack in slot 5. She can run whatever she wants. Who else is there? Chingy, I don't think needs attack in slot 5. Neither does Lighter. Lighter's best choice might be pen ratio or attack percent. I don't know much about Lighter, but just based off of his kit giving so many other buffs. The bread and butter here that we're looking through is this. So this one has crit rate, so this is good. We like that. This one doesn't have crit rate, has a small chance of getting crit rate. This one has crit rate. I might roll the 2 crit rate ones just to see if we can fish for crit damage, because we haven't rolled crit damage in a while either. And then this one also has crit rate. So we actually have 3 good discs, and then this one is kind of mid. We can honestly afford to throw this out, because even if it rolls crit rate, it just, it's just not worth it. We're going to toss this one. So now we have 3 good discs down here. We can do the same logic to slot 6. And now, since this is going to be almost exclusively a stunner disc, the discs that you want to really keep are mainly impact. Attack percent is also good for people who need attack values like your Fufu. Also, there are some cases where the added impact doesn't get you an extra stun window in your clear, so then you might just be better off running attack. That's a testing thing. For the sake of argument, we're going to look at the energy regen. We have 1. And these are pretty good. Double attack crit rate AP. I like this disc, so I am going to keep it. I don't know when I'll use it, but I'd rather have the 1 energy regen with good substats than down the line being like, I really need a stunner King of the Summit with energy regen, and now I'm gonna have to waste calibrators, right? This was given to me for free by the stage. I might as well just keep it if it's good. So let's look at defense and HP. We have a lot here. This one doesn't have crit. This one has double attack. Very niche defense. It makes more sense for me that a stunner will eventually scale with defense than for it to scale with an attacking stat. So let's see. This one doesn't have crit rate. This one also doesn't have crit rate. It has HP. What I like about this one is that it's got HP and then HP in the subs as well. So it kind of doubles down on the HP being good. The defense has flat defense, but it also has 2 HP and attack. So this one is 100% trash. See, like this defense disc that has 2 attack is probably better than this one. This one has crit rate attack percent. So begrudgingly, we will keep this. So it's slightly better than this HP. So at this point, you can make the choice of double cope, right? Keep this for potentially crit rate. Or you see that this one already has crit rate attack, and you just say, you know what? We already have one that's a lot better than you. We're just going to keep that one instead. I like keeping this, so I'm going to keep it. We have attack percent crit rate on a defense disc, which is better than this one. Same logic here. You can choose to keep both of these, or you could choose to just keep this one because it is better. So we're going to do that. Crit rate, crit damage on another HP disc. That's pretty good. And then defense again. So now since I have 2 defense discs that kind of rolled crit rate attack percent, I can just kind of tell this one, you know, thanks, but no thanks. And then this one is an HP crit damage. Compared to this one, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to throw out the other ones. Cool. We got 3 more material back. We thinned the herd a little bit. And then the last thing we do is actually look through our good attack percent disc, which would be... this one has flat. Attack is so hard to get because attack is such a good stat. And you can't roll it in the substats if it's in the main stat. This one's pretty good. We got pan attack crit. We need the crit rate to roll here for it to be like a super great disc. And then, yeah, any of these 3 rolling crit rate because they have flat attack as well. So let's fish for it. Let's fish for crit rate. Defense. Gonna roll this. HP. Can we get crit rate? We haven't rolled crit rate in a long time, bro. Please. HP. So yeah, it's been like fucking 10 rolls since we've rolled crit rate. It has been very unlucky. So yeah, unfortunately for us, this one can probably go because it didn't roll right. This one, at the bright side, it still has crit damage, pen, and attack, so we still keep that. This one is also in a similar boat. We honestly don't need so many attack percent, especially when they're all rolling like crap. So unfortunately for us, we did not roll well there. And yeah, so that's how you would thin out slots 4, 5, and 6. And then we already covered slot 1. So the logic for slot 1 applies to slot 2 and 3. But yeah, no, I think that has kind of gone on long enough. Hopefully I had some good insights. And next time I will try it. You know, I don't even know if I should keep it a little bit shorter, because maybe you guys enjoy having all of this stuff laid out and explained. I think it's better to over-explain a process like this than to under-explain it and assume that people have knowledge that they might not have, because a lot of the scene, I think, likes to assume that people come from video games, like other games. They come from like the other Hoyo games, and I have played JRPGs before. I play turn-based games. I play like, you know, Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Bravely Default, that sort of stuff. But I don't play Hoyo games. Like, it was never really something that got me interested. But then I saw the trailers for Zenless and I was really into the game. I like the design, I like the style, and I fell in love with this game. So that's why I am making videos on it and talking about it all the time and playing it constantly. The community is really fun, and I like the characters' designs. I love Alice. Anyways, yeah, I hope that my insights can help people to farm better. And if you guys would like to see more, I mean, even if you guys wouldn't like to see more, I'm still gonna make it anyways. Haha. But I think what I'm gonna do from now on, for the next like few days or something, is just put out videos about stuff like this, where I just kind of sit here and go through each one of my discs, like by set, so you guys can see what my elimination process is like. And honestly, I did rush some of those King of the Summits just for the sake of making this video. I would probably usually be a little bit more patient. Like, I wouldn't have rolled all those attacks at the same time, because I know that usually doesn't end well. But at the very least, we kept 1 out of 3 of them. We kept the best one. And there's still a lot more discs to do. Like I said, King of the Summit is like my weakest set right now in terms of like the newer sets that I've been farming. I did not farm Yunqui Tails and King because just like only one character uses Yunqui Tails, and for King of the Summit, I don't use stunners that much. I just really like Jafufu. And if you guys were here for it, I did a whole 100 floor challenge where I used her on most of the teams up through the up through the tower before it got reset, and we got to floor 100, and we actually beat floor 100 with level 1 Jafufu, and Yishuan and Caesar. Very, very fun challenge. I had never stepped into tower before then, so I had to learn a lot of stuff, and it's a good fun stream. I streamed for like 2 weeks, just full days of running down tower with my underleveled units. The craziest floor was floor 85. If any of you want to tune into the streams and just look for floor 85, oh my god, bro. Floor 85 made me lose my shit. But yeah. Look forward to me clearing each one of these discs in the coming days. And I hope that this has helped you guys.